Now, why is the boat supported by straps and on jack stands? Well, let me tell you why. I was going fishing. I left Tech Garage and I wasn't a quarter mile away, and up pulls Jackson County finest. Comes up to me and says, hey, the brake lights and the tail lights out. As a matter of fact, one of them's even dangling. I had no idea. Well, after that whole fiasco, we're gonna go ahead. We took the trailer out. We're gonna pull it into Tech Garage. Not only are we gonna fix it, we're gonna upgrade it with LED lighting today on Tech Garage. Welcome to Tech Garage, presented by RockAuto.com. Well, don't adjust your televisions. There's a boat trailer on the lift. And you know, a boat trailer can be simple, but we're going to keep it high-tech here. Like Tech Garage fashion, we're going to upgrade this with some LEDs.
Absolutely, and sorry about your luck, pal. I got to tell you, though, it was a pretty good day on the lake, even though he couldn't make it. Absolutely, we're going to seize this opportunity to upgrade to LED. There's huge benefits, not just visibility. You'll see what we really mean by that. We got a new wiring harness from Rock Auto. We got lights. We got tools. Everything we need, we got at RockAuto.com.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand. Even the tools right here. I mean, just go on their website. They have every bit of the crimping tools, the wire, the shrink wrap, the wire itself. Everything's ready to go. But the key is LEDs.
Let's show them the difference here. I mean, this is absolutely almost night and day.
It's huge. You can see this one right here. Now, that's a normal trailer light we had. Yep. It's burning, but check this out. Man, there's our LEDs.
Yeah, way brighter. Again, when you got people behind you, it's dark 30 when you're headed to an all day on the lake trip. You want people to see you and you want to be seen. So big difference right there.
And not only that, we're talking about amp draw. LEDs draw a lot less amps, and I got a cool demo. Check this out. I'm going to put this over to amps, and then I'm going to disconnect them one at a time. I'm going to go in series with the bulb so we can actually read what they're burning.
There you go.
Now, our regular one's burning a little over half an amp there.
Yeah,
okay?
a little over half an amp.
Yep. That's fine, but you start putting them all on the trailer a whole bunch. Let's go to the other one. All right, so I switched to the other one here. When I switch to the other one, man, that's about a tenth of an amp.
0.1, unbelievable. So multiply that times all the lighting on the trailer, big difference in the amp draw. That makes a big difference.
It is a big difference, you know, but you also have a lot of work cut out for you. Yeah, we got a little bit done. We got the rollers off and we're ready to go, but this is ran through the frame. I mean, this is going to be a pretty big job.
Yeah.
Also, wiring it, I mean, there's different color wires. There's some different stuff going on. I'll get a demo set up so we can show how all the trailers work. They're pretty universal. You get started.
Awesome. Okay, our first step is with this wiring harness, we're going to have to pull this from the front. Again, the wires go all the way up inside this left frame rail, so I want to pull this from the front. To do that, I'll have to make a cut up there. We've already got access right here, but I tell you what we can do back here. These wires come in, make a junction, come across the frame right here, all the way to the other side. So I'm going to show you how to cut these wires and then noose them around your new wires with electrical tape and pull it, loop them together so they don't drop off in the middle of the trailer. That wouldn't be any fun. And I'll show you how to do that by making a snip right here. Okay, there's the rubber grommet off. Now, give yourself every bit of potential you can to succeed. Here we go. I'm going to put these here. Just use that roller mounting. I'm going to pull these wires over. With some electrical tape, you want to get as much of the lead as you can here and create a loop. What I mean by that is come down here, loop these together, twist them, take them back over themselves, like this. Then you're going to electrical tape all that together. I removed the rubber grommets on the trailer so that they'll fit through. Get this taped up. We'll go to the other side then and make our pull. Again, take your time here. These wires take a beating. You think about salt water, fresh water, all the rust and oxidation that builds up over time in here. You're going to be pulling these through that. Okay, so I'm going to work that up into the frame, right? And get it started. Come over to the other side. And we're going to start to make this pull. Take your time. I can feel the tension. It's going to be a little bit of a job. We also have to get past our running light bracket here. So, got new red and black. We're going to replace the old red and black. But you got to understand the gauge of wire and why that matters on a load like this. John's going to explain exactly how all that works.
Brian, you're absolutely right. The size of the wire does matter, but even more importantly, the colors of the wire. And when we're talking about trailer wire harnesses, it's usually universal. They're always about the same. So you can see right here, I have a graphic. We're dealing with a 4-wire connector, and you can see the top one right here. That's actually the right turn signal, which is green. The yellow one on the harness, that's going to be the left turn signal. The brown is always the tail lights or the running lights on the vehicle, and then the white's the ground wire. So we can see it right here in the board. I actually have one wired up here with our lighting system. Now you can go buy a plug that you can just plug in and tee in. I highly recommend that. You separate it and plug it in. But if you buy a connector like this, you're going to have to wire it in yourself. So you're going to have to go up under the vehicle and find the different colors, and that's pretty easy to do. You can do it with a DVOM, but you can even do it with a test light. What I like to do first is just test the test light and make sure it's operational, and it is. And we're just going to go up the wire harness. So what I did is I grounded the white one, and now we're going to do the running light. So you want to go ahead inside the cab of your vehicle, turn the running lights on. Once you turn the running lights on, you should have 12 volts at one of your wires going back there. So you're going to have to go back till you find one of the brown wires that have 12 volts. You'll see it's lit. When I turn it off, it goes away. So once that's lit, you can wire into that, come down to the trailer harness and verify you got 12 volts just by simply lighting the test light. Now, turn signals, we can start with the left-hand turn signal, which is the yellow one. So what I'm going to do is turn on the left-hand turn signals. So we can go up here to the yellow one. I'll follow it up, find out under your harness, and you see the test light's actually blinking. That's a good thing. That's showing our 12 volts is there. Wire in, come down once again. Make sure it's blinking again. Once down there, you're on the harness itself, all right? Now we can go and we can do the right side. Now the right side is gonna be your green wire going all the way back. So I follow that up, find it underneath in the rear. You see that it's blinking. Well, once again, wire it in, come down, verify your work. That one's blinking, we're good to go. Now what about the brake lights? Well, if you have the bulb set up like this, when you hit the brakes, I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off. When you hit the brakes, I'm gonna reach over here and I'm gonna hit the brakes. What's gonna happen on the left and on the right turn signal bulb, it'll light that up as well, and that'll be the actual bulbs that's going to light when you hit the brakes. So it's important to get that thing wired up right, and it's even important to string it up, make sure that it's loomed and protected. And Brian's running it through there right now. We're going to join him because he's going to need a help in a little while getting that long strand to the front of the trailer wired up.
All right, we are making good progress. I got the first leg of the crossover feed going on here. Tell you what, I'm going to pause there. John, while I got some help, let's go ahead and run this full length down through the frame rail. I've got a lead pre-connected for you. I'm going to give it a tug. You feeling it?
Yeah, I got it tucked. It's going in there now. Feed it in. If you start pulling it through, you should feel it start to come. There you go.
Yep, back pull yours
through.
A little bit.
There you
All right,
go.
give me one more time.
Yep, just like going through a wall of a house, isn't it?
Yeah, sure is.
Problem is we got some rust in there and some other things going on.
Got to fight it.
There you go.
Try it again. All right, there we go.
Great.
All right, I'm going to pull it. You feed me.
All right, go ahead. You got it. You got it. You got it. You got it. You got
all
it.
the way through the rust particles. There we go, and there's my lead. Remember the hook and loop? Hardly any damage to the tape. That's good. Now, all I have to do now, once I'm going to leave myself enough to work with here, reinstall the new lamps, LED. And John doesn't know this yet, but I'm going to add a backup light here for him, an 800 lumens LED light. This is a game changer at O dark 30. When you're backing down a ramp of a new lake you've never been to, you're going to be really glad you have this light. It's on the driver's side, which will really help illuminate where he's going with the trailer. Remember, it's a trailer. Everything is going to be underwater. Dielectric gel everywhere. It's an insulator. It keeps it out. Solder and shrink wrap everything. You'll see how that works in just a minute. But for now, stay with us on Tech Garage, brought to you by rockauto.com.
Tech Garage, presented by rockauto.com, is being brought to you by Borla, the world's most winning exhaust. Evapo-Rust, super safe rust remover. And by rockauto.com, all the parts your car will ever need.
Welcome back to Tech Garage, presented by rockauto.com. Now, when it comes to wiring, you can't take any shortcuts, and that's even more important when we're talking about a boat trailer because we're in harsh conditions. And I like to go ahead and show you a demonstration that's going to show you how to do it the right way. Now, you can take some butt connectors, put the wires together, and just butt connect them. That's fine. It'll probably do the job, but we're going to take it one step further here. And what I want to do is I want to take one of these butt connectors right here, and I'm going to knock out the center of it. Well, why am I going to do that? Well, I'll show you here in a second. As we get the center of it out of there, I'm going to use that for an actual solder joint. So I'll take that and I'll try to get this plastic piece off. Now you have to work with this a little bit, tap it down, work it, but once you get those out of there, That's the ticket. That's going to be the piece we're going to use to solder the two ends of the wires together so we don't have any corrosion or resistance in the wire harness itself. So I got the butt connector out right there. You can see it. We're going to use that. Now I'm going to go ahead and get a piece of wire so I can show you the demo. I'll cut a piece of this wire, and Brian was saying size matters when it comes to wires. There's different gauges of wire. Matter of fact, the higher the number of the wire, the smaller the wire. So if we're talking about like a 10 gauge wire, that's going to be a lot thicker than a 20 gauge wire is. So look at your American wire gauges sizes. I'm going to strip the ends of it off right there. And then I'll come get the other end of it off. Crip it, strip it, and then I'm going to come back here. Now the key is I'm going to take this wire, I'm going to put it together in that barrel connector, and then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to solder it. So I have a actual connection that's going to stop any resistance or moisture getting in there when we're doing a boat trailer. So I'll take this one, I'll put it in here, and what I'll do is I'll actually solder it to itself. So I can take this wire, loop it around. Once I get it in the barrel connector on both sides, and my little holder here I actually got from Rock Auto, which is really cool. Now I can go ahead and I can fill that joint up with solder, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use rosin core solder. That's important, okay? There's acid core solder, but that's for water and pipes at the house, some radiators and stuff like that. I got a little torch here so I can light this thing and we can go ahead and get started. Now, when it comes to soldering, just like any kind of water pipes, I'm gonna solder the center of it, and what's gonna happen, the solder is gonna be attracted to the flame. So once I get this thing nice and hot here in the center, there it goes. Starts eating up that solder. That's great. It's going to fill up the center. I'll fill up both ends. You can see it going in there. It's filling that whole joint. Why are we doing that? Is because we don't want any resistance or anything to get into. Now I got a little damp rag here. I'll just put it over there. When I put it over like that, I'm good to go. I mean, you can see it just like that. Now the key is I can't pull that apart. So if I wanted to take a truck and get on both sides of this, probably going to break the wire first. Now, if I was doing a wire or a strand, I would go ahead now and I would take my shrink wrap, and I want to take some shrink wrap and I want to put it on there. And then what I want to do is heat up that shrink wrap, and that's going to also protect this whole joint right here. Just take the torch or take a heat gun, heat that up. Once you heat it up, we're good to go. It's going to shrink down on that wire. You got a corrosion-free connection that's not going to get any resistance. Now, Brian's hard work over there, we're going to hold him accountable and make sure his wire connections are good as this one.
All right, one more mounting bolt to go on the new LED lamp. There we go, and that is secure. You can see the new lamp is in. We also have our LED auxiliary submersible light in and set up. We don't have it wired yet. We need to connect ground there, and we're going to be in good shape. We also have our power leg run from here over to the middle of the trailer where the running lights will go in next. So I'm feeling pretty good about this, and hey, we even did a pretty good job with these connections, I think.
Brian is as good as my connection?
Hey, absolutely.
I'm ready to go fishing,
Are you kidding me?
Hey, my Father's Day shirt. Don't make fun of it now.
I'm stuck in the garage and you're doing this?
I'm ready, man. I'll tell you what, is it this good?
I don't know, that's solid.
That's something, isn't it?
Wow.
Let me check yours.
That's pretty awesome.
Yep, they're in good shape. All right, so we're ready to go. We got the LEDs, just a matter of buttoning it up. What we need to do now is go back and make sure that we pull all the harnesses, hook it up. I think what we're going to do is we'll actually go to the truck and we'll run a 5th wire there for that light to make sure we can run that in reverse lights up at the front of the truck. So when we put it in reverse, we'll have that to back in. I think it's a great option.
You are going to love this at Dark 30 next time you're going down a ramp.
Well, meanwhile, we'll get that buttoned up, but we'll pull in Project M&M, the Mercury Makeover. You don't want to miss that. Stick around. There's plenty more. Tech Garage, presented by RockAuto.com. Well, welcome back to Tech Garage, presented by RockAuto.com. Well, Tom and I are hard at it on Project M&M, Mercury Makeover. And you know, we walk back to do the differential, and lo and behold, here's a fuel filter. Got to change the fuel filter, right, Tom?
That's right, we got a French tank of gas.
Yeah, after those years, you should see what come out of it. Nothing to it. All I did was actually put my tool on here, disconnected my line, put it in there. All that's left is I need to put the line back on, which is basically just self-crimping. I put it on. You hear that click. Once it's locked, get the safety on there, make sure it's good to go. Now, a couple tricks with the fuel filter. First of all, they're directional. So if you see the arrow of flow, You want to make sure it's going in the right direction. And these two fuel filters, well, they look identical, but the similarities stop there. If I pull them out right here, you can actually see. This one here is a new fuel filter, and this one over here, well, this is used. And this is exactly what ours, I suspect, looks like, or even worse, because it's been sitting for years, about enough the gas is varnished and got a lot of debris in there as well. Tom, how you doing back here?
Just got a couple more bolts. We're ready to change the differential fluid. I think it's our last fluid.
Yeah, that's it. We made it all the way back. I mean, we got the oil, we got the brakes, we got the power steering, we got the transmission. Let me grab this and I'll give you a hand. You got the last bolt up there?
Got one at the top to hold it on.
Okay, go ahead. Let's see if we get lucky here and don't take a bath like we did on the transmission. We were fine there, but I suspect
looks
this
like it might
thing's
have some
probably
sort of
original too. Yeah, it's got
sort
the
of
factory
adhesive.
adhesive on there, so we're gonna have to get a little prying going here. Let me see if I can get an angle here. Watch yourself. There it goes. Ah, okay, made it. Look at that. Oh, that smells like it's about 10 years old. This is not smell-o-vision, but if you could
okay.
smell this, yeah. See if you can pull that cover down, and we'll move over there. That last bolt. Awesome. Set that right there on the table there. Now, why are we changing the differential fluid?
Yeah, in the southern climate, get the humidity, the heating and cooling, get moisture condensing in there, and looks pretty good though. I don't see a lot of crud.
It's not too bad. I mean, you know, just like the transmission, there's some stuff in there, a little bit of mess in there. Now, what goes on inside of there, that's pretty cool, Tom. If you look at our ring and pinion right here, and what happens is you got this pinion gear and the ring gear spins around inside this differential, and really the only lubricant that separates this from metal to metal is our differential fluid. So as we're going around, this is going to wear, not including the bearings, that also is going to wear as we're going. Now, also, think about this for a minute. If I move this over for a second, you look right here. This is an ABS sensor. What an ABS sensor does, it reads this tooth ring. Well, think about it. ABS sensor, it's an AC pickup, it's a magnet.
Right.
Well, if we get metal shavings, where are they all going to go?
Right, it's like the magnet in the transmission pan. They're collecting right there.
It's collecting right here. So guess what? ABS light on, nothing to do with anything with the ABS system. Maybe it just needed service. Get this thing off, clean it, service it. We'll be good to go. So it's really a good idea. How about the fluids? I mean, we're going to have to add the fluid as well.
Yeah, might as well don't reuse old fluid. Put
No, that's for sure. We got this fluid right here. Now all we need to do, Tom, is we need to go back. We'll run this over to a wire wheel. We'll clean this thing up really good. We get the pan gasket from rockauto.com. We'll put it all back together. We'll pump the fluid in there. There's actually a little fill port up here. We'll just fill it till it overflows, and we'll be good to go. But you know, you also have some tips on that fuel filter. Let's head over and check it out. We'll button this up first, take it for a test drive, make sure it's in good shape. I think we got all the fluids whooped. Let's head over and check out rockauto.com. Now, Tom, we replaced the fuel pump on Project M&M, the Mercury makeover, and I'll tell you what a dream. Right on the rail, super easy, couple bolts, couple bam, off and on, we're good to go. That's not the case all the time.
Yeah, it's getting more and more rare. A lot of times now, the fuel pump and the fuel filter and the sending unit for the gauge and the dash and the pressure regulator are all part of one fuel pump assembly that goes in the gas tank. I pulled up the 2005 Toyota Camry as an example. You can see you got the float for the gauge, and you've got the strainer here that acts as the filter, the fuel pumps in here. So you might need to replace that as a complete unit if you have more than one is failing, if your gauge is acting goofy and you know the filter needs to be replaced, or you can just take it out and replace individual components like the inexpensive filter part of the system.
Yeah, that's nice. A lot of times when we just want to get into the tank, maybe clean out some debris in the tank, and my fuel pump's working. So I see here for $2, $4, I can go get a strainer, just put it on there, and I have a fresh system.
Yep, yeah, the only difficulty is taking it in and out of the gas tank.
Yeah, and this thing was pretty rough. I tell you what, I looked up a fuel filter one time, and they don't give you access. So when you're getting in there and you're replacing the whole unit, you can find it right here on rockauto.com.
Yep, you saw how easy it was.
Well, very cool. I'll tell you what, take a short break, no more than 2 minutes, because we're going to be back with Tech Garage right after this.
Tech Garage, presented by RockAuto.com, is being brought to you by Z-Max, the one product for your engine, transmission, and fuel system. Clamp Type, the clamp making tool. And by RockAuto.com, all the parts your car will ever need.
Welcome back to Tech Garage, presented by RockAuto.com. Well, today's video question ties right into our boat trailer. It has something to do with the short. Let's take a look at it.
Hey John, my brake fuse keeps blowing. I replaced it, and after a while it blew again. I was told to replace it with a bigger one, but I don't think that's a good idea. Could y'all help me figure out what's making it blow?
Sounds like he has a short. Now, what is a short? A short is bypassing the load with the electrons. They're going to run so fast to either ground or either to power, either one. You can have a short to power, short to ground, that it's going to bypass. It's going to get hot, and it's going to get so hot it's going to blow that fuse, and we can simulate what's going on right here. So you have to go past the fuse. That's where yours is, Hossam, and then if I touch ground anywhere, I'm going to touch this. Watch how quick this pops. That's it. That fuse is gone.
That's gone. For sure, that one's done.
Yep, so now what you need to do is just go out there and get a short finder, man. It's a little circuit breaker. They're pretty inexpensive, and what that's gonna do, it's gonna take the place of the fuse. So be careful, make sure they don't touch. Get that in both sides there, that they're not touching, because then you're just creating the circuit. Now the electrons, everything's working great. So it's running through there. We don't have a short, but when I simulate the short this time, I go back to ground. What's gonna happen is inside of here is a circuit breaker. Now a circuit breaker's in cars all over, seat motors, window motors.
Just like the one in your house.
Same thing, right?
Same thing.
Something gets hot, it bops, it blows.
Yep.
This one's resettable though, so it keeps trying to reset, and until he finds that short and gets it off the metal, it's gonna keep buzzing and it's gonna keep shorting. I'll show you exactly what it sounds like. It's pretty cool.
But it's nice to have the sound, because if you're underneath the truck, you're working somewhere you can't see a dummy light, whatever, you can hear the problem.
Big time. Now listen to this, and then what happens, it's gonna keep pulsing. Lights are out. It tries, lights are out. Yep, you heard it try, listen. Tries, bam. Keeps trying to light them, it can't light them. So it's going to continue to do that till you go around, isolate that circuit, go to your service manual, find what's on that circuit, or it could just be the boat trailer.
Yeah, it could be. And so what you want to do is detach the truck, decouple the truck from the boat trailer, run this test on just the truck. If you don't have a problem, the problem is in the wiring harness of the trailer.
Now, speaking of boat trailer, whew, when I push the brake pedals, bam, there they were.
Yep.
When I turn the turn signals, bam, left turn signal, right turn signal, and then the really cool part, boom, I had that light. So it looked good, man.
Really good.
Awesome job. But Hossam definitely hit it right when he said don't put a bigger fuse in, because I can show you what's going to happen here.
Great question to ask. You don't want this happening on your truck.
Yep, this is a smaller wire instead of like a big fuse. If I burn that, there it goes.
Not good, buddy.
You're gonna burn your truck
Hey,
up.
keep the questions coming. We love to hear from you on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
I'll tell you what, we'll be back next week with more Tech Garage presented by rockauto.com, and then the smoke will be clear.
Production assistance for Tech Garage is provided by Chipola College, located in Marianna, Florida. Founded in 1947, Chipola was recently ranked as one of the top 3 community colleges in the United States.